Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, Dallas's Eagle's Nest. Today I'm going to be passing on some facts to y'all about the founders of Hogwarts. Of course, if there's no founders, there's no Hogwarts. So I wanted to further my education into Hogwarts, its founders, when Hogwarts came about. I was always curious, so I looked that up, so I'm passing on the information to y'all today. Of course, Hogwarts has four founders: Godric Gryffindor, Helga Hufflepuff, Rowena Ravenclaw, and Salazar Slytherin. Now, they all, each of them created a house, which we all know is Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, and Slytherin. I also found out that Godric Gryffindor was the oldest out of all of them. He was also the most powerful one out of all of them, which was surprising to me because I thought that Salazar Slytherin was, just because he had made the Chamber of Secrets and he left the basilisk in the chamber, and so I thought he was the most powerful one, but I was wrong. Also, an interesting fact that I found out that I think y'all will think is interesting too is that Harry Potter was a descendant of Godric Gryffindor. And I thought that was really interesting just because that wasn't, I never read that in the book. Maybe one of y'all will point that out to me, but I never remember even seeing anything like that. But it does make sense since Harry Potter was placed in Gryffindor. But I thought that he was placed there because both of his parents were Gryffindor. And most of the time, when a child goes to Hogwarts and their parents are, say, Ravenclaw, then they're going to be in Ravenclaw, or they're going to be in Hufflepuff if their parents were in Hufflepuff. But maybe that was why he was placed in Gryffindor. Even though the Sorting Hat kind of wanted him to go to the Slytherin house. It's also, the castle itself is located in Scotland. Another interesting fact that I found out was if Muggles look at the castle, it just looks like an abandoned castle. It does not look like a school. It does not, they don't see the Quidditch field. They don't see anything like that. They just see an old abandoned something that you would tear down. If you're a Muggle, that's what you're gonna see. Also, the founders founded the school around 990 AD. So it's been around for a long, long time. Another interesting fact, it kind of goes along with the founders in Hogwarts, but, and I guess this would make a student at Hogwarts very, very confused, but Hogwarts itself has 142 stairs. And they change throughout the day. So if one student goes down one staircase to go, say, to the Great Hall or to their potions, they're not going to go on the same staircase because they're always changing. So I thought that was a very, very interesting fact. I did not know that Hogwarts had that many staircases. But, you know, being the magical world it is, it can do whatever it pleases. So we're going to get into each of the founders. Godric Gryffindor. Now that's the first one I'm going to go over. Of course, Godric Gryffindor was his house was Gryffindor. He was a fair man. He believed that any child that displayed the talent of being magical and being a wizard should be allowed to come to Hogwarts. He also valued if you were very brave and courageous. He was also the original owner of the Sorting Hat, which I thought was very, very interesting because I thought it was Albus Dumbledore, but it was not. It was actually Godric Gryffindor that had the Sorting Hat, and he's the one that gave that hat to the school so they could figure out what house each of the students would go into. And he was actually best friends with Salazar Slytherin, before Salazar Slytherin left Hogwarts, and I'll get to why he left Hogwarts in just a minute. So I thought that was a couple interesting facts that was about Godric Gryffindor. So the next one is Helga Hufflepuff. Of course, she is the founder of Hufflepuff. She was a very kind and warm woman. She believed that in order to be able to go into Hufflepuff, you had to show that you were loyal, you were patient, and that you were very hardworking above anything. That was the main thing she wanted in her house. She's also known to be the one that brought house elves into Hogwarts to help clean and do all that. Now, another interesting fact, the cup that Helga Hufflepuff had ends up later on when Lord Voldemort gets into the picture at Hogwarts. He uses her cup as a Horcrux. And that was the cup that Harry Potter had to destroy in Bellatrix Lestrange's account at Vault at Gringotts. That was the one that he had to hit with the Gryffindor sword to get rid of the Horcrux. So I thought that was another interesting fact that that was hers. And I thought that was just a random cup that they just said was Hufflepuff, but that actually belonged to her. And Lord Voldemort, years and years and years after she passed away, he used that as one of the Horcruxes. And I thought that was just very interesting. She was also best friends with Ravenclaw. So they were all kind of best friends. They had best friends. So, hey, you gotta have best friends, right? Now we're going to get on to Reva Ravenclaw. And I hope I'm saying that her first name right, but I'm not entirely sure. She was the founder of Ravenclaw, my house. Of course, this is her Diagon. I'll be getting into some interesting facts on this Diagon. She was sharp and she was very intelligent, and that's what she wanted in her house as well, was very intelligent students, students that read and write. She wanted the best out of the best, really, intelligent-wise, in her house. She also had a daughter, which we all find out in Harry Potter as the Grey Lady. She was the ghost of Ravenclaw, and she is known as Helen Ravenclaw. But another thing that I found out, which this is the Diagon. Most people don't really know what it looks like. Some people do, but I have the necklace of it. Helen herself stole this from her mother, and it became very lost. They didn't know where it was. No one knew where it was, and no one had seen it. Later on, Lord Voldemort actually found it and used it as a Horcrux. He actually used this Diagon as a Horcrux, and he later put it in the room's requirement, and it got lost again for about 50 years or so, and that is where Harry Potter finds it and destroys it. That's in the scene, if you guys remember in the movie, he found it and then threw it in the fire so it would be destroyed. And of course, Voldemort's face came out of it. And that was just a sign of that was the Horcrux that he had used, and a part of his soul was dying when he threw it into the fire. And that was also the scene where he saved Draco Malfoy from the fire. And looked into it and been watching the movies a little bit more, and I realized that he did throw it into the fire, and that's how he destroyed it. Now, just like the cup, he used the sword, and the other Horcrux, he used the sword. In this case, he took this and threw it into the fire in the room's requirement, and he killed part of Lord Voldemort's soul by doing that. And that's why Lord Voldemort's soul face came out in that fire, because he was killing part of his soul when he got this destroyed. So that was very interesting, and knowing that's my house, my Hogwarts house, I thought that was very interesting to find out. Now, we're getting to Salazar Slytherin. Of course, everybody knows that if you do mainly bad witches and wizards get into Salazar Slytherin's house. And it's mainly because if you are very, not bad per se, but you like to play evil tricks on people, or you're mainly, your family has a dark past, that's where you end up, is Salazar Slytherin's house. He also, which, if you've read the books, or at least watched the movies, Professor McGonagall talks about this in the Chamber of Secrets, how Salazar Slytherin wanted to be more selective with his students. He didn't just want anybody at Hogwarts. He wanted only pure blood. He only wanted people that were pure blood. He didn't want muggles there, muggle-born. He wanted his house to be pure blood. And that is what caused him to have to leave Hogwarts, was because the other founders believed as long as you had some type of magic, or even if you were half and half, maybe your dad was a muggle and your mom was a witch, or your dad was a witch and your mom was a muggle, you could still go as long as you showed potential that you were a witch or wizard. But Salazar Slytherin wanted to be more selective with his students and didn't just want anybody at Hogwarts. And because of that disagreement, he left Hogwarts. But before he left, he did create the Chamber of Secrets. And that's where we get Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, and we learn about how Tom Riddle, reopened it and everything, but he used Ginny Weasley to do that. And he put that basilisk in there, and he locked it up. He also had a locket, which I'm looking into getting. I want to get all the Horcruxes and display them. But he had a locket that was his, but Lord Voldemort actually used that as his Horcrux. And Harry was able to destroy that with the Godric Gryffindor sword. And that's one of the reasons that Godric Gryffindor created that sword, was because he knew that Salazar Slytherin was very kind of backstabbing. He knew that there would be trouble years after he left, so he wanted Gryffindors to be able to protect themselves, and that's why he created that sword. And that was another thing that I didn't realize, why he created that sword was to protect, to use that as protection. But the other interesting fact was Salazar Slytherin's best friend was actually Godric Gryffindor, but that was before he had a falling out over who got to come to Hogwarts and who didn't. And I thought that was just really interesting that they were all best friends, but just because of that one disagreement of, okay, Salazar Slytherin wanted purebloods in Hogwarts, and the other ones just, they, as long as they showed their qualities that they were looking for, they could come. As long as they were a witch or wizard, they didn't care if they were half-blood, muggle-born. They didn't care. But Salazar Slytherin was just kind of like, okay, if I can't have it my way, I'm out of here. And that's what he did. He left. So that was really interesting that I found out about them. It was really interesting just to read over all those interesting facts about Hogwarts. Like I said, I wanted to make this video real quick and tell y'all all about that. And if you have any more ideas or comments, questions, or anything, let me know in the comments below. This information was because a follower asked me to do a video on information about Hogwarts and its founders. So I hope that answered any of your questions about Hogwarts. And if you have any more, like I said, information that you want to know, be sure to drop it in that comment below. And if you like this and other Harry Potter related videos, put that bell on and subscribe to my channel. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video as well. Y'all have a Harry Potter day.